What if I told you that some of the greatest careers in baseball history didn't peak in their 20s? Or even in their early 30s, but actually after the age of 35? Most athletes are slowing down by then. They lose their speed, their reflexes, their power. But in baseball, a handful of players have defied father time, proving that greatness doesn't always fade, it can evolve. Today, we're breaking down the MLB legends who turned back the clock, reinvented their game, and shocked the world by getting even better in the later stages of their careers. Stick around, because one name at the end of this list may completely change the way you think about aging in sports. Baseball has long been considered a young man's game. Scouts obsess over prospects in their early 20s. Analysts predict sharp declines for players past 30. But time and again, veterans have rewritten the rules, reminding us that skill, experience, and even science can sometimes outweigh youth. Let's start with Randy Johnson, the towering lefty who was terrifying enough in his 20s, but became an absolute force in his late 30s. At age 35, most pitchers are just hoping to survive. Johnson? He was just getting started. From ages 35 to 40, Johnson won 4 straight Cy Young Awards with the Arizona Diamondbacks. His fastball was still electric, his slider devastating, and his command better than ever. The peak moment came in 2001 when, at 37 years old, Johnson helped lead the Diamondbacks to a World Series title. He shared co-MVP honors with Curt Schilling and famously came out of the bullpen in Game 7 on 0 days rest. That's not just dominance, it's legendary. Now let's shift to the batter's box with David Ortiz, aka Big Papi. Ortiz was already a hero in Boston before he hit 35, but after that, he became immortal. From ages 36 to 40, Ortiz put up some of the best numbers of his career, slugging over 500 every single season. And then came 2013, the year that cemented his legacy. At 37, Ortiz carried the Red Sox to a World Series championship, hitting .688 in the Fall Classic and winning Series MVP. And just when you thought he'd slow down, he retired at 40 after posting a .315 average with 38 home runs and 127 RBIs. That's not fading. It's walking off into the sunset at your absolute best. Speaking of late bloomers, Nelson Cruz might be the poster child. Cruz didn't even make his first All-Star team until he was 28. But after turning 35, he became one of the most feared power hitters in baseball. Between ages 35 and 40, Cruz hit over 200 home runs, including 41 bombs at age 39. He wasn't just producing, he was leading lineups well past the point most sluggers retire. What made Cruz special was his ability to adapt. He improved his conditioning, refined his swing, and kept up with pitchers half his age. Even into his 40s, Cruz proved that power doesn't necessarily decline, it just evolves. And then there's Bartolo Colon. Unlike Johnson or Ortiz, Colon wasn't dominating the league, but he was defying expectations in a different way. After injuries derailed his career, most thought he was done. But Colon reinvented himself as a control pitcher, relying on pinpoint accuracy and veteran savvy instead of pure velocity. From ages 39 to 43, Colon logged over 1,000 innings, made an all-star team, and became a fan favorite everywhere he played. And of course, who could forget that unforgettable home run at age 42, the only one of his career? It wasn't just a highlight, it was proof that baseball magic doesn't have an expiration date. Another player who aged like fine wine was Ichiro Suzuki. Known for his contact hitting and speed, Ichiro didn't rely on brute force, which gave him incredible longevity. Even after 35, he remained a hit machine, racking up over 200 hits at ages 35 and 36. And though his numbers dipped later, his ability to play into his 40s was a testament to discipline, conditioning, and an unmatched work ethic. Ichiro's story proves that reinvention isn't just about power. It's about finding ways to keep contributing year after year. Now let's pause for a moment. If you were building a team, would you rather have a 22-year-old phenom with sky-high potential? Or a 38-year-old veteran who's proven they can still deliver in the clutch? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm curious to see which way you lean. When it comes to pitchers, Justin Verlander might be the most modern example of late career dominance. After battling injuries and Tommy John surgery, many thought his best days were behind him. Instead, he came back better than ever. At 36, Verlander won the 2019 AL Cy Young Award, leading the league in wins and innings pitched while throwing his third career no-hitter. Then, at 39, after returning from surgery, he won another Cy Young in 2022 with the Houston Astros, posting a league-best 1.75 ERA. Verlander isn't just good after 35, he's redefining what ace means for an older pitcher. Let's not forget Adrian Beltre. Early in his career, Beltre was solid but inconsistent. But after turning 30, and especially after 35, he became one of the most reliable third basemen in baseball. From ages 35 to 39, Beltre averaged over .300 at the plate and played stellar defense. He reached the 3,000 hit milestone at age 38, cementing his place among the all-time greats. For Beltre, age wasn't a decline, it was a refinement, polishing his game until it gleamed like a Hall of Fame plaque. Here's the real takeaway: age isn't always the end in baseball. In fact, for some players, it's the beginning of a remarkable second act. What many see as the twilight years of a career can actually be the spark for some of the most unforgettable performances in the game. Legends like Randy Johnson, David Ortiz, and Justin Verlander proved that experience isn't just a bonus. It can make you sharper, more efficient, and sometimes even more dominant than in your prime. Johnson's late career dominance, Ortiz's clutch heroics deep into his 30s, and Verlander's return from injury to win a Cy Young show how knowledge and resilience can turn age into an advantage. Meanwhile, others like Nelson Cruz, Bartolo Colon, and Adrian Beltre remind us that reinvention is just as powerful. Cruz adjusted his swing to become one of the league's most feared power hitters well into his late 30s. Colon used guile, movement, and precision instead of pure speed to stay relevant. Beltre, with his mix of skill and leadership, not only stayed productive but also became a fan favorite well past the age when most players fade. Baseball is a sport where reaction time is crucial, where the body wears down, and where a new wave of younger, faster talent is always arriving. But these veterans showed us something bigger, that with the right mix of preparation, adaptability, and passion, 35 doesn't have to be a finish line. For some, it's not just survival, it's a chance to reach a whole new peak, and to leave behind a legacy that's even more inspiring than their early years. So when we talk about players who got better after 35, we're not just talking about stats. We're talking about the resilience of Randy Johnson, the clutch fire of David Ortiz, the relentless power of Nelson Cruz, the reinvention of Bartolo Colon, the precision of Ichiro, the dominance of Justin Verlander, and the steady brilliance of Adrian Beltre. Each of them proved something bigger than baseball. That greatness doesn't have an expiration date. Now it's your turn. Who do you think had the greatest second act in baseball history? Did I miss a player you'd put on this list? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading through them. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories that make baseball unforgettable. Because in the end, legends aren't just born, they're built, sometimes long after the world thinks their best days are behind them.